Hello, my name is Adriana and this is Full Moon Yoga for Women. I host this class every month for women for free. It is something that I absolutely needed this year, and I was called to bring my friends and family in with me. And earlier this year, I've opened it up to any women that would like to join us to practice yoga, to connect to ourselves together. Our highest selves, that self that you are growing towards, working towards, that self that you are, but may not always act upon. So we practice connecting to that here on the yoga mat, connecting to our bodies, bringing the movement in sequence and rhythm with our breath, which allows us to release tension, release anxiety, release stress in the body, and allows us to show up in our world in situations that might stress us out or trigger us with more patience, with more presence, with more awareness from a more grounded place. I want to apologize so much for not being able to make it for this full moon yoga class. I'm really grateful that my friend Skylar Van Rossem, Nutritionist, Reiki master, was able to attend. I'm so grateful to be doing this full moon yoga with her. So I hope the energy update went well. Please stay tuned for her posting of that energy update. And let's get into that yoga sequence that I promised. So you can take a comfortable position here. You can be seated, but mostly I'd like you to have a straight, flat back. So if that means you can find a place sitting comfortably, shoulders rolled back, chest lifted, nice extended spine, or even start here. But if it starts to hurt and that distracts from the meditation, the pranayama, please lie down on your back. We are working muscles, and if you don't normally sit like this, you might be straining your muscles a bit too much. So get comfortable and begin reflecting inward here. Following that breath as you inhale, and following it back out as you exhale. Just reflecting internally here and pay attention. How is it that you're feeling? Physically, did you come to this class feeling loose, feeling stiff, full of energy, low energy? Check in with your mind. How are your thoughts today? What is the story running through your mind today? Are you being kind to yourself and others? Do you feel clear? Do you feel foggy? And check in with your emotions. What words would you use to describe your emotions? You could say that to yourself. And let those go too. We are not our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions. All these things pass. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Releasing here, getting comfortable. You can do a body scan and just make sure you're not tensing your shoulders, your jaw, your abs, your glutes, your feet, your hands. Do a body scan here and let that go as you exhale. You can incorporate that ujjayi breath, that breath, the ocean's breath, by constricting our throat, breathing in and out of our nose. It's kind of like that sound when you try to fog a mirror. But we do that with our mouth closed. And breathe in. So if you can't hear me, believe me, I can hear myself. You should be able to hear yourself, and if you're in the room with someone else, you'll probably hear them too. It's a very audible breath. And we want to do that ujjayi breath again without any tension in our body. So play around with the strength of that Ujjayi breath, with how much you constrict your throat, and find a constriction, a strength that works for you. And we'll just stay with that Ujjayi breath for a couple minutes. You can play around with holding your breath at the top of the breath when you breathe in, and holding your breath at the bottom of the breath when you breathe out. Just see what that does to your body, what sensations come up. And if your mind wanders, or should I say when it wanders, just bring it back to this moment again and again and again. Like I've been saying in these other sequences, this is a practice. It is not perfect. It is not something that you're ever going to achieve. It's something we do every day, and over time, over the years, you really do progress and gain control over your mind, gain control over your breath, and are able to stay more in this present moment. And on your next inhale, you can open your eyes. Wonderful. I'm going to introduce to you the Kapoola Bhati breath. And we create that breath by actively exhaling with sharp bursts and passively inhaling in between there. So let me show you again. I'm not consciously breathing in. I'm just consciously bursting that air out of my throat, out of my nose. And I like to put my hand on my belly because as I burst it out, I engage my abdominals here and pushes against my lungs, which empties them a little faster. So I recommend you take your hand, put it on your belly. I personally like to go a little faster, but go as slow as you need to. It's a strange breath to get the hang of. If you trip over your breath, no worries. We're going to be doing it for 30 seconds for 3 rounds. And we'll have 15 seconds approximately in between. I actually don't have my timer, so I'm going to be I'll be eyeballing that. All right, so we'll breathe in together halfway and begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and return to your natural breath for 15 seconds. And remember, while we do this Kapoola Bhati breath, we really don't want to be tensing in our body, so just pay attention to that. We breathe in together, halfway, and begin. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Return to your natural breath. And one more time, we breathe in together. Begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and return to your natural breath here. That's the Kapoola Bhati breath. It's really great for raising your energy levels, for clearing your mind. If you find that you've got a bit of a foggy brain, it really oxygenates the brain, the blood very quickly. Okay, we're gonna jump right into our yoga sequence now. We can stand up tall, grounding through our feet here. Maybe you lift your toes a couple times. Try to stay with the sole of the feet. So that big toe mound, pinky toe mound, heel and side of the feet. Stay engaged while we lift our feet, our toes. Lift our toes, engaging the soles. Let's breathe in together, lifting our arms up over our head. Grab the left wrist with the right hand. Breathe out, bending over to the right here. So you'll be bending opposite to what you see on the screen. Breathe in, coming up, grabbing the right wrist with the left hand, and breathe out, bending over to the left here. Try to keep your shoulders away from your ears. Breathe in, lifting up, switching our hands. Breathe out, bending over to the side. And your hip will pop out to the side here to maintain an equal connection between both feet and the floor. Breathe in, we switch our hands. Breathe out, our hip bops to the side, shoulders away from the ears, both feet equally pressing into the mat. Breathe in to come up, both hands above our head. Breathe out, looking up and back slightly, and I mean slightly. Check out my back here. Just looking back a little bit. Breathe in. Breathe out, hands down. Let's bring them to our low back, and you can lean back a little more now that we have some support. Breathe in, looking up. Breathe out, leaning back. Maybe release that head fully, only if that feels good to you. Having it up here is still a good place to be, and it might be safer for you depending on your body. Breathe in, hands up over our head. Breathe out, opening up into our powerful goddess pose. We tuck that tailbone. We get our knees over our ankles as much as we can, toes pointing out, bending those elbows, and we get those spirit fingers going. I like to bounce here a little, and again, really tucking that tailbone, engaging all the leg muscles, your glutes. You can sway left and right here, connecting to your inner goddess. And I completely forgot, but the mantra of this class is compassion. So connect to that inner goddess, that compassion, that love you have for yourself, that compassion, that love that you have for others. Breathe it in here for 3, 2, 1. We straighten out our legs into a 5-pointed star, bringing both our feet parallel to the edges of the mat. And then we're going to take our left foot and turn it. So we're setting up for Trikonasana, triangle pose. We're going to micro bend our left knee here. We open up our arms, bop our right hip, boom, to the back of the mat. Breathe out as we bring that left hand down to left shin. See how that feels before touching the floor. If touching the floor is uncomfortable for you, and so is the shin, you might need a block here. Bringing the floor to meet you. And notice how I'm using my abdominals to hold myself up. If you can't do that entirely, just try to maintain that connection. And again, it might help to have a block if you're not able to do that. And breathe. Opening up your body, your heart, your mind to the world, to yourself, to others. Breathe out. Breathe in. We lift all the way back up. We're going to square off our hips now, facing forward to that left foot facing forward, right foot facing forward. Hip width distance apart for pyramid pose. Breathe in, your hands up. Breathe out, left knee has a micro bend as we fold over that left leg. Again, we come to the shin first, see how that feels. Your body's probably parallel with the ground here. And it's gonna be a deep stretch on behind that left leg, the calf, the hamstring, the glute. Maybe you're able to fold your body all the way down. Again, with every pose, we connect to that compassion. And compassion in the poses is that you don't go further than you're meant to. You know, you go compassionately into these poses, really feeling how it's hurting or working for our bodies. If it's stretching our bodies, that's where we want to be. If it's straining, bring some compassion in, back off a little. Breathe in, I can feel the blood rushing to my head. Halfway lift, breathe out. Breathe in, lifting yourself all the way up. No worries if we're less graceful. I do this every day. And we're gonna step that right foot back and lower down into a low lunge here. Right foot on the floor. You can point or curl your right toes. So right leg is back, left leg is forward, low lunge. We're trying to get that left knee over the left ankle. And you can really sink into this groin area, stretching that right hip flexor, stretching the groin. Breathe in, looking up. Maybe your hands come up over your head. Breathe out, we frame that left foot with our hands. So you can stay in this low lunge if this works for you. But if you'd like to try the wonky side pose, please come with me. We're gonna bring our hands in front here, up on that back right foot and twist. So the heel is in the ground now, the toes are pointing up. You can literally stay here like this, or we sink back, lifting that ankle, lifting the toes up, flexing the foot, the right foot, the left foot down into the ground, hands together in front of your heart. Breathing. Maybe you have your hands in front of you to help with balance. And we'll walk them further, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. We'll bring our feet together here and lowering down into a yogi squat. Bring our hands together again, using our left and right elbow to press against our left and right knees. You may find that your heels don't touch the floor. You might be on your tiptoes, that's totally fine. You may find you need to balance your hands on the ground. That's totally fine. We're doing whatever we need for ourselves. Take note of my back. We're really trying to stretch that tailbone down to the ground, shoulders away from the ears, wherever we are. We're still going for that straight spine here. Breathe in and breathe out. And we'll transition to the wonky side pose, stretching out that left foot, coming onto the right foot. Again, we can be up here, or maybe we sit back, flexing the toes up, bringing that hand into prayer position. If you fall, simply get yourself right back into it. a funny pose, even for me. Breathe in, breathe out. Compassion for myself, for how I feel like I'm doing this wrong, putting my best foot forward. Even when I feel like I'm doing something wrong, I'm learning so much about myself, about my body. As we exhale, we'll bring our hands down and frame that right foot coming into a low lunge on the other side. So we lower that left knee, we point or curl those left toes. We breathe in, coming up into that low lunge. You can use the right thigh for support and really sink into the groin area here. Stretching that left hip flexor, stretching the groin, and breathe. Breathe in, bringing your hands up over your head. Breathe out, framing that right foot. And lifting ourselves up, setting up for that pyramid pose. So our hips are parallel on the other side, facing forward. We breathe in, lifting our hands up. Your right knee has a micro bend to it as we breathe out. Bring our hands down, first to our right shin, see how that feels. Before maybe we lower it down a little more. Make any adjustments that you need. Blocks might be really nice here for yourself if you find getting to the ground is a bit of a strain. And again, you're getting a really deep stretch in this whole back leg, the back calf, the back thigh, the glutes. And your next inhale, breathe in, lifting up halfway. You can feel the blood rushing to my head again. And breathe in, lifting yourself up all the way. Well done. We're going to step that left foot back a little bit, opening ourselves up for Trikonasana, triangle pose. We open up our arms, breathe in, looking over the right arm. Bop that left hip to the back. Bend that right knee and breathe out. Right hand to right shin. See how that feels before we lower down to the ground. Shoulders away from your ears here. Really opening up your body, opening up your chest, opening up your heart. Again, engaging those abdominals. If you find that you can't hold yourself up, it might be worth it to try it using a block or a book. It doesn't need to be a block that you buy. It can just be a book or something that brings the floor to meet your hand. And just stretch it out here, breathing. And as we exhale, bring our hand down and breathe in, lifting it all the way back up, coming into that 5-pointed star, and then our goddess pose again. Big smile here. We are strong, beautiful goddesses, connecting to that divine feminine energy, that creative, that intuitive, that nurturing, that restorative, that calm, that cooling, that loving, that caring. How can we give that to ourselves? For 3, 2, 1, we stand up, hopping our feet together here. Breathe in, lifting your hands up over your head. Breathe out, right hand on left wrist, and breathe out, bending over to the right here. Again, it'll be the opposite for you compared to my video. Breathe in, lifting up, left hand grabs right wrist, breathe out, over to the left. Breathe in to come up, hands together, breathe out, hands together in front of your chest. And that is the moon salutation. So just take a moment to think about the moon, the full moon, that beautiful rock in the sky that affects our tides, that affects the seasons. that I'm sure is affecting us. Wonderful. And we'll just lower on down to the ground, however you'd like to get there. And we'll bring our feet together for Konasana, butterfly pose. You can play around with how close your knees are to your groin, closer or further away. It'll change the stretch a little. And I want you to ground through those sits bones again, seats bones, sits bones, the bones we sit on. Grab our ankles, roll your shoulders back, just to help really extend your spine, bring that chest forward, sitting up tall as we breathe in, expanding, and as we breathe out, walking our hands forward and folding over. Really saying hello to your toes here. We'll be here for about a minute, so just release, coming to your breath, allowing the stretch to do the work on your body. And if your mind wanders, just bring it back to this moment, here and now, to your breath, the sensations in your body, the sounds that you hear in this room. And on your next inhale, we breathe in, lifting ourselves back up. And we're going to breathe out, opening our legs into a wide-legged seated pose. Flexing your toes up to the sky. Opening your legs as much as is comfortable for you. They do not need to be as wide as mine are. They can be wider than mine are. I've always found this a very challenging position. And after all these years, I would have thought I'd be a lot deeper in it. So it just goes to show that every body is different. Just because you're skinny doesn't mean you can access every pose. Doesn't mean you're fit. We can grab our inner thighs here, roll our shoulders back, lifting our chest up as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, we walk our hands forward. You don't need to go far to feel a very deep stretch. So again, bring in that compassion, that love for the self, that nurturing, that feminine energy to all these moves, and treat yourself accordingly. You know, back off from a pose if it hurts, if it strains your breath, and go deeper into the poses where the stretch feels good. Such a beautiful metaphor for your life, you know, leaning into the situations, the relationships, the jobs that feel good, and excusing yourself, backing away from, taking a break from those that don't. Where would you be in your life if you listened to yourself, your body, and what it was telling you? And breathe in, lifting yourself up. We'll bring our feet together, coming into a forward fold or setting up to a forward fold. You can get grounded through those sits bones or seats bones. I was just talking to my mom about them. You call them sits bones, but they're the bones that you sit on, so I sometimes call them seats bones. I mean the same thing. So we breathe in, lifting our hands up over our head. You can bend your knees here if you'd like. And breathe out, folding over your legs. You can release your hands, palms facing up, to really ingrain this idea of using gravity in your body weight, an effortless stretch here, not an active stretch of pulling. A compassionate stretch, if you will. Breathe in, lifting your hands up over your head. And breathe out, coming down to the ground, onto your back here. You can bring your knees to your chest, give them a nice squeeze. Open your hands up into a T shape and let your knees fall to the right. Giving your spine a nice twist, breathing into the belly. And breathing out. We'll be here for about a minute. If your mind wanders, compassionately bring it back to the breath, to the sounds in the room, to your body pressing against the mat and how that feels. On your next inhale, breathe in, bringing your knees back to your chest. You can give another squeeze here. Then open your arms back up and let your knees fall to the left this time. Ooh, giving your body, your spine a twist on the other side. Breathe down into your belly, deep belly breaths, activating that the sympathetic, there we go, nervous system. The rest and digest state of the body. And especially when your body's twisted like this, it's a really nice massage on your internal organs. We'll be here for about a minute. breathe in, bringing your knees to your chest. I realize I fumbled there. It's not sympathetic or sympathetic. It's the parasympathetic nervous system I was talking about. The rest and digest state of the body. The sympathetic nervous system is the flight and fight mode. The mode that we're trying not to be in. Okay, well done everyone. We're setting up for the end of our class here. You can put your hands on your stomach here, bend your knees, feet on the ground, and let them fall to the left and fall to the right. Fall to the left and fall to the right. This is a great massage on your low back, on your glutes. Oh my God, your butt feels so good like this. We can open up our feet as wide as the mat, palms facing up or down, yogi's choice. Maybe you want them on your belly, on the heart, and on the belly. I'm gonna grab myself a blanket quickly because at home yoga, and it's chilly in my room. So yeah, get comfortable here. And we'll be here for about 5 minutes. If you've got some nice music that you like to go ahead. Shavasana is so important to allow your body the time to really absorb, integrate all the things that we've just done, all the stretching, all the strengthening, balanced out with rest. So return to your natural breath and allow gravity to do its job. And again, if your mind is wandering, bring it back to this moment. This time is so important and you are exactly where you need to be. This time for yourself will only allow you to show up for the rest of your day, your week, your life with more presence, awareness, and purpose. You can stay here longer if you'd like. If not, you can wiggle your fingers and toes. Bring your knees to your chest again and roll to one side. Slowly, lovingly, we push ourselves back to where we started in a seated position. You You can bring your hands to your third eye, and we're going to end with 3 chants of Om. This is great to activate that vagus nerve. Again, something that really helps with the rest and digest state of the body, calming the nervous system. Bring your hands up to your third eye, middle of the forehead. We breathe in together. Breathe in. Breathe in. Namaste. And Namaste is simply the highest version of me, acknowledging that in all of you. I'm so happy to be meeting you from there today. I've been in my lower self, my lower version for far too long. Thank you so much for connecting with me today. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel, send me all the love. I hope to see you next month, live. Goodbye.